Cool. Hey everyone, welcome to This Week at Apollo. Special treat this week, you've got just me, COO of Apollo Scooters, and we're going to talk a little bit about what my week has been like, and guess what it's like to be a COO of Apollo.
Maybe you try it.
As some of you may know, we've closed our year end from last week's meeting. We did a full inventory count, and that just usually signifies when we close our fiscal year end. And this is a really important time at Apollo because that's when we start looking at, okay, well, what's the plan for next year? Marks kind of like the end of our season. In Montreal, it's already starting to look doom and gloomy outside. So this past week has been a lot of focus on bigger picture. What do we want Apollo to be? What are the things we want to focus on over the course of the winter so that we start the next riding season in the best position possible? So, let's talk from the top. We'll focus from a customer experience perspective. We'll talk about servicing a little bit. We'll talk about supply chain. We'll talk about what it's like for the team, and really, like from an HR perspective as well. What are some of the things that we're focusing on, and talk a little bit about some of the projects that we're prioritizing. So from a customer experience perspective, we always take advantage of the decrease in volume in our tickets to beef up our internal and external documentation. So the help desk, our Mavinoid self-service sort of chat widget, looking at that process, looking at how we can improve it, looking at increasing the amount of content that we make available to our customers so that everyone has all the tools at their disposal to answer their own inquiries. We're also looking at our extended warranty offering in Canada. There's finally some movement on that, which is great. So we really want to be in a position where we can finally offer extended warranty to Canadian customers really soon. And then really looking at internal reporting. So why is internal reporting really easy or really important? Well, really useful to know what our customers reaching out to us about so that we can implement that feedback cycle to say, okay, well, these are the things that customers are asking questions about. How do we make sure that we're increasing and sort of like answering those questions proactively? So including that in our help desk, including that in our chat assistant, so you get answers to your questions much faster and don't actually need to reach out to a support agent. So we talk a lot about customer experience at Apollo. What we don't talk about is some of the other departments. So for us, we've got servicing department as well, both an internal and an external sort of servicing teams. So from an internal servicing perspective, we have a system that we use to manage all of our repairs across all of our shops. That's how our agents know what the status of your repair is. That's all being kind of centralized in one place. So that's a system that we update periodically, obviously, and improve over time. The more efficient our technicians can be with using that system, the faster your scooters get repaired. So we always incorporate feedback that we've been collecting throughout the summer period and incorporate that into our systems. Looking at troubleshooting guides as well on our help desk, on YouTube, and on the chat assistant, making sure that those are more informative. And we're adding more and more troubleshooting guides so that if you have an issue with your scooter, you know what the solutions might be, and you can try some things out before you reach out to support. That's just a really easy way for you to hopefully, turn it off, turn it back on, and solve your problem. So, and then the last thing is really big focus on repair videos. We have a lot of new models, and we have assemblies that are coming as well. So the spare part assemblies that we've been talking a little bit about, making it really easy to service your own scooter, those require repair videos. And repair videos are super important, not just because they're going to provide our customers with more knowledge and resources to self-serve, but also because we're finally focusing on expanding our third-party shops so that we can have more servicing locations across Canada and the US, so that we can have better, sort of more easy servicing options for our customers, essentially local servicing options. And the big barrier there has been, we want to make sure that the people who are touching and fixing Apollo scooters are qualified to do so. So we're working on a program for that. That's going to be a super important project for us over the next couple months as we formalize that program. And obviously repair videos are super important because that's what we're going to use to train both our technicians on the new models, but also these third-party shops. And our customers are going to have access to the exact same number of videos. So you could technically be a certified Apollo mechanic yourself by following our course. The next thing we're talking about as well from an external servicing perspective is how can we enable customers to understand when they should be coming in for servicing. The servicing network is super important for that because if you don't have a local servicing option, you're not going to ship it to us to fix it. We don't expect you to. So, but at the same time, that's really important. So Those are kind of hand in hand. We want to really use the app and use the preventative maintenance guides that we have in our manual and on the help desk to bring those two things together so that we can recommend servicing for you at certain intervals to make sure that you're operating your scooter in its safest condition. Okay, customer experience, servicing, that's really customer-facing type stuff. There's a lot of the stuff that happens within the operations team, specifically supply chain and marketing, even though marketing is not necessarily part of the ops team, but those two teams have been working really, really closely together to formalize our budget for the next year. How many scooters do we expect to sell? What is our production schedule looking like? We have some really exciting news coming probably soon. You've probably maybe gotten snippets of it, but retailers that we're working with, big box stores that we're working with in starting very soon in the US, and potentially more international distribution as well. So keep an eye out for that. But all of that is super important because we need to establish our budget now so that we know what we're doing next summer. So that's been a huge focus for the supply chain team. And to also be in a position where we are forecasting our stock accurately. So we're not in an out of stock position like we were this year, which was a bit of a difficult situation. So we're hoping to not repeat that next year by really focusing on that over right now. In terms of other projects outside of supply chain and marketing, we have Apollo Plus, super important program for us. We're looking to expand Apollo Plus. So Rachel, who kind of owns Apollo Plus, has been working on an embedded insurance option. And what that means is basically we want to offer product protection, theft insurance, and liability protection for the rider as one sort of insurance product that you could purchase at checkout, rather than having Ship Plus, Warranty Plus, all these different product offerings. We want to consolidate them into one. That's a pretty large project that I think is going to be a game changer in this space. So that's a big focus for us. And obviously Connect Plus for the pro beta users right now and everyone who contributed to the Indiegogo campaign. Connect Plus is going to be the sort of unlocks the IoT dashboard. A lot of these extra features that we've been working on that come with the Pro, Connect Plus is the service that kind of brings all that together. So working on our privacy policies, working on our compliance, all that kind of stuff is, a lot of that stuff happens behind the scenes. I don't think people see that, but that's been a really big focus for us lately, and this week especially, because we're getting really, really close to needing to deliver on those requirements to the R&D and development team. Outside of Apollo Plus, we've got scooter launches that are coming. The Apollo Pro, Indiegogo campaign, making sure that production is going to proceed as planned, and getting ready to take all the lessons that we've learned from the Pro Early Access Beta program and use those lessons and incorporate them for the Rover/Lite beta program. So this is the first time we've ever done a beta program, and Rachel is working on a post-mortem for that program while it's still running, to really just understand, well, what could we have done differently? What could we do better? So the next time we run a program like this, it's much more efficient. And then finally, we're looking at, the team goes through a lot in the summer. It's really, really busy. There's a lot of pressure. And so the focus always is, as we get into the slower season, how do we do our team healing, our team bonding? What are the things that, how do we focus internally a little bit more? So, where do people see themselves at Apollo? What are the things that make them happy to work on Apollo? What are the things that they don't like working at Apollo? What are their career plans at Apollo? And how do we make sure that we're creating a company that is going to provide those advancement opportunities for everyone who contributes? That's a big part of that, of our focus for now, really looking at incorporating, our employees' feedback, and just kind of like continuing to improve the company culture that is so strong here. And then looking at, as well, what are the openings that we need to, start thinking about listing and things like that. What are the requirements going to be like next year when we do have, potentially new international distribution, or we're in 100 big box stores in the US, which is very possible. That's a lot more customers that are coming to us. That's a lot more requirements for the team to execute on. So what are the headcount needs for that as well? So that's kind of what has been on my plate this week. And it's super exciting to get to work on all of these different challenges, kind of all at the same time. And, that's kind of an insight into what it's like being the COO of Apollo for a week. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you found this interesting, and looking forward to bringing someone else to talk some more next week. Thanks so much.